Welcome to the Business Insider Podcast, where we interview the top business leaders in their respective industries. I'm excited to introduce you to today's special guest. We've got Janine Horne here. She is the founder of Zenwell Studio that is located in White Plains, Maryland, and she specializes in holistic health and wellness. Janine, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So as you know, I've got a bunch of questions lined up for you. And I'm sure audience is wondering, specifically what you do and really what the major outcomes you get for your clients if they work with you. So you'd briefly explain that to me before the podcast, but if you wanted to reiterate that to the audience, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Janine Horne, and I am a registered nurse. My background is in public and community health nursing. I own Zenwell Studio. We offer a wide range of comprehensive holistic health and wellness services that are dedicated to promoting physical, mental, and emotional well being for individuals and for communities. We provide a wide range of services that are really dedicated to healing the mind, body, and soul through physical movement, education, and mindfulness. So, wherever you are in your healing journey, we are there to meet you in the middle.
Amazing. And if you had to define your superpower or the unique skill or insight that really sets you apart in your space, what would it be and how has it shaped your success?
I think it would definitely be my empathetic nature. My ability to really resonate with my clients, to really be compassionate and understanding where you are, and to formulate a care plan that is specific to the needs that are really affecting you. I'm a good listener, and I really want to understand what are the imbalances that you're facing. What are some of the challenges that you're facing? What has worked for you in the past, and what things can we incorporate? What knowledge can I impart on you that can help to set you on a good path for healing, not just for yourself, but for your family, friends, and those that you come across in your life moving forward.
Amazing. So I'm curious, what kind of inspired you to pursue this current path? I mean, how did we get here?
So this is an interesting story. About 6 years ago, my brother, who was a Marine pilot, passed away tragically off of the coast of Japan. He was doing a flight simulation at night, and tragically, he lost his life doing the things that he loved the most, which was flying airplanes. From the time that he was 6 years old and he passed away at the age of 28, all he did was talk about flying aircrafts, and he did it. He followed his dream and he made it come true, and he gave his life doing what he loved doing the most. It was during his funeral services where his friends from all over the country, all over the world, really came out and spoke so highly of him, had so many wonderful, amazing stories to share about him, things that I didn't even know, me being his sister. I didn't even know some of the things that he has accomplished within his life. And it just really, really made me stop and take a pause and understand how short and precious life is. After his passing, because it was so tragic, and he was taken from us in such a tragic way, it was really hard for me to process my own grief. Learning how to incorporate some of the tools that I'm learning to impart into others, which is guided meditation and sound healing and yoga, for instance, was a way for me to cope and for me to work through my grieving. Um, Along with imparting some of my clinical background as a nurse, really help to turn some things around. And with that, I felt that it was very beneficial to help give some of that knowledge to the clients that I worked with.
Well, let me just say, terribly sorry for your loss. That's, awful. And but really though, it's amazing that you've kind of been able to rebound and take that experience and be like, how can I help other people that, may be experiencing the same sort of thing, whether that's, physical, mental or spiritual, right? It's kind of tying back to what you had originally said. So that's really awesome that you took that, negative thing and turned into a positive thing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Um, so kind of on, on the holistic side, how important do you feel like is, the mind muscle body connection?
I think it's absolutely essential. You know, everything starts in the mind. What the mind says to do, the body will follow. Mental health is essential, especially in this day and time where we're going through so much. We are going through so much emotionally that if we're not emotionally regulated, our nervous system is not regulated, which can contribute to inflammation in the body, which can in turn lead to many physical manifestations within your cardiovascular system, your immunity, your respiratory. It all has a interconnection. And so all of these things play a part, and they're like little pieces of the puzzle. So when one is not working well,
Right.
the others kind of all tumble out of order. And that's really what it is just getting everything back into equilibrium again, if that's possible, you know, and being gentle and kind with yourself because it's not easy, and it's okay if we make mistakes and we veer off the path because healing is not a linear journey. You know, we kind of have to take some side turns and we have to get back on it, but it's okay, and the message is to be kind and gentle. Give yourself grace and mercy.
Yeah, makes sense. So, walk me through kind of the some specific examples of, what you do to help your clients, whether that is, physically, mentally, or spiritually. Like, what's kind of a session with you kind of look like for any of those out there that, don't know or maybe are interested in finding out?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. One of the most popular services that I provide is something called a soul care session. I'm a Reiki practitioner as well, in addition to being a registered nurse. So, what that is I incorporate Reiki healing with chakra balancing. And so, we do a lot of cognitive based therapy, in addition to clinical assessments. I really do a review of systems. I'm taking a look at your health, I'm taking a look at your emotional well being, your spiritual well being, and understanding where you are and formulating a holistic plan of action. Really incorporating all tools that involve physical movement, education, and mindfulness. Trauma stays trapped in the body. So if we're not doing anything energetically to move that outward, it just stays and manifests into other things that can become physical, like I had mentioned before, inflammation and other disease states. And so some of those sessions that I do, I customize when I'm working with my clients in order to get them to the goals that they're working towards, whether it's weight loss or um, hormonal balance or working through situational relationship changes. Or right now, a lot of our in this DMV area that I live in, a lot of federal workers are losing their jobs or worrying about the stress from working in the federal space. And so this is something that I'm working with clients for, gaining a lot of mental spiritual calmness right now.
Mhm. Makes sense. So, why do you think modern medicine kind of skipped over the whole mental and spiritual part of medicine?
Well, there's a lot of factors around that can surround that. Um, However, I really do think that it is in the best interest that we incorporate all healing modality tools. It is not always in the best interest to speak about the tools that don't necessarily, generate a lot of revenue. Um, what's necessary to teach our clients and our society and our community in general is those tools that can help to teach others and help to generate long-term lasting effects for lifestyle changes that are lasting for generations and not just a quick fix or temporary purposes or things that trade one problem for another.
Right, right. I think preventative medicine, is a super crucial part of, health. And I do feel like more people should, become aware of this. And it's not really their fault that they're not aware. It's just kind of what's being broadcasted in today's healthcare system, isn't that side of things. Like you kind of said, that's not generating as much revenue as maybe the medication or, the physical side of, health and problems. So I'm kind of speaking on a personal situation, having Lyme disease, I know full well, if I'm not in a good mental state and, I'm stressed out, I have anxiety, whatever it may be, my symptoms get way, way worse. And kind of before I understood the holistic approach to health, that was something that would always happen. I never really understood it. Like, those weeks where you're just like being bogged down with work, you're anxious, whatever's going on. And I'd feel so much more sick, like in every capacity. And I never really understood it until I started learning more about this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's undeniable that, it plays a crucial role in your health. It's just as important as physical health, I would say.
I love that. Just you sharing that personal story puts a connection to it beyond the statistics. You are absolutely spot on when you speak about how your feeling mentally has a physical effect on your body and how that exacerbates your symptoms even more so just because you're not mentally feeling well about yourself. And I love that.
Yeah, it's one of those like every time it's not like like a rare occurrence, like, oh, it happened to
Right.
me one time. It's like every time that
Every
happens,
time.
it's
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Like, it may be a different symptom, maybe a different inflammation in a different area of my body, but every time it's happening, and I'm like, okay, let's take a deep breath, let's calm down, let's meditate, let's let's calm down and figure this out. And then usually, after maybe a day or so of just like being calm again, kind of removing that anxiety with natural techniques, whether that's, supplements or literal like physical things that I'm doing. I see that inflammation and those other symptoms kind of go back down to normal. And it's like, it's crazy. It blows my mind, honestly.
That's right. It starts with your mind.
Yeah. So, in a rapidly changing world, where do you kind of see your industry going over the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, healthcare in general always is, there's always room for growth and improvement. We are always going to need healthcare. We are a rapidly aging population. Our seniors definitely need the support and the care. Mental health is very serious and it's definitely on the forefront of everyone's mind, body, and soul. As we age as a population, population and community health is very important because a lot of our symptoms are not being able to be properly managed in acute care settings. So a lot of the focus has to be on preventative care, like you had mentioned. We have to focus more on disease prevention as opposed to rehabilitation afterwards. So my mission always as a community and public health nurse is to get the education out before so we can prevent a lot of the comorbidities that happen afterwards. I always advocate for healthier communities, and that starts, really at the local level. So that's really where I come in, is really educating our communities and understanding where we are and filling in the gaps and making sure that, we have credible information and information that we can trust that's evidence based.
Makes sense. So, in your experience, what do you feel like is the biggest problem in your industry, and what are you doing to try to solve for that?
Well, I think the biggest problem in our industry right now is really understanding where we are as far as funding for programming so that we can continue on the work that we're doing. We really are in a peculiar state right now where we're trying to make sure that there are measurements in place, that there are funding in place, that we can continue the work, that there are resources available, that those that need the resources and need the support and need the guidance and need the structure, need those uh, medications even, or need the support to sustain their life can continue to do so. And that's so those are some of the things that keep me up at night. I really want to make sure that the work that I do, I'm very passionate about it. So
I can
whatever I
tell.
need to do, I am always involved. I sit on various boards. I am advocating for my clients. I'm advocating at the federal, state, and local level. I'm really in the community. My catchphrase or my line is all in the community. I'm there. I'm visible. That's how you know that I'm there. I'm there, and I care.
Yeah, I feel like it's not often I come across people that are clearly so devoted, to their work. Which so that's amazing really that you care that much and you're doing as much as you can to advocate, for what you do. Because we need more people like you out there, doing this kind of stuff and really caring and trying to spread your message. So don't stop.
Thank you so much. I won't. I won't. It's my life's work, and this is what I was brought here to do. So,
It's awesome. So shaking things up a little bit now, Janine. I've got this game called the Lightning Round. I play with my guests on here. So my audience loves kind of seeing the business owner, outside the business. So I'm going to ask you 10 quick questions and you give me the first answer you think of.
okay.
Coffee or tea? Cats or dogs?
Neither.
Neither. Okay. Okay. Hot take. Hot take. If you could grab only one weapon during a zombie apocalypse, what weapon would you pick?
Mm. My silver bullet knife.
Favorite quote or phrase that you think about? Take your time. Take your time. This one's a little trickier.
So I'm reading a really good book, The Psychology of Money. And there was a quote in the book that I just read, and it says, "Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems." And I love that quote.
That's good. No, that's a great one. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh, what's my favorite movie? Coming to America is probably one of my favorite movies.
I don't think I've heard of that one. What's it about?
With Eddie Murphy, you don't know that one. Oh, you're
Oh,
probably too young
oh.
for that one.
I do know Eddie Murphy, but honestly, I used to be a way bigger movie guy, but I've kind of found it, more difficult of late to have the time for movies. So, I
Yes,
definitely will check that one out though for sure. See what it's about.
yes, for sure. Check it out.
What's your favorite TV show or streaming series?
Mm, my favorite TV show or streaming series. Um, let's see. I haven't watched anything recently that's been that good. Mm, I don't know. Let's skip that one.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. How about your favorite book?
Well, I just finished reading a book called Let Them by Mel Robbins, and that was amazing. That was one of my favorite books recently.
Cool, cool. What are your favorite three hobbies?
My favorite three hobbies are definitely getting rest, prioritizing rest for sure, doing yoga, and reading.
Cool. One bucket list item you've already accomplished in your life.
Skydiving.
Skydiving. Yeah, I'm terrified. Count me out of that. I'm all set. What's one bucket list item you haven't accomplished yet?
Hmm. Probably going on a safari.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's on my bucket list. I really, really want to go to Africa and I want to go to
Yes,
Cape Town specifically.
yes.
Be super cool. And what would be one final thought to, leave with the audience today? Maybe for someone out there that's listening, that's dealing with, whether, physical, mental, or spiritual issues, or, they just need guidance, not really sure, how to get healthier again. What would be some advice you'd give them?
I definitely would say is to find find a way to open up some vulnerability and speak about what you're going through because you're really not alone. And what I find is a lot of times people feel like they're in silos and what they're experiencing is very unique or specific only to them and no one else is going through it, but you aren't. Please know that there is a community and there's a tribe, like I say, or like I like to call, there's a tribe out there for you, and you are not alone. A lot of the difficulties or a lot of the things that you're experiencing um, is very, is not specific or not unique. You are not alone in this journey, and there are a lot of people that can resonate with you, that look like you, that feel like you. We are here to help and here to guide. I'm one of those practitioners that feel very passionate about the work that I do. And it's very important to me that I impart this type of knowledge to those that I serve.
Amazing. And Janine, if any of our viewers, would like to, reach out to you and see what you do, maybe get some help with all this stuff, what would be the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. You can get in contact with me at www.zenwellstudio.com or at Zenwell Studio across all social media platforms. You can also give me a call or text 301-848-3791.
Awesome. And guys, I'll link all of her stuff in the description. And yeah, Janine, thank you so much for coming on today. It really was a pleasure interviewing you and, learning about how important, all of this stuff is.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.